All right. So now we are thoroughly documenting this moment as we begin International Day of Peace 2021. The gathering, or all day long, there will be this event. We say sunrise to sunset, but that's not accurate. It depends on where your sunrise is. And also in this time of year, you don't really know where the sun is in the Netherlands, where I am. Oh, I think I see it over there somewhere. But so glad that you could join us. And throughout the day, I do recommend checking back in if some of you in the audience, as you arrive, if you can't stay. Someone asked earlier, can I join in 15 minutes? And today the answer is yes. There will be more programming. So we're here together as a sort of good morning session. And considering the time zone, I invited many of our both clubs and friends in the region of Asia. So I want to give a big greeting to everyone in the panel this morning. Good morning. What I might do to best facilitate it is actually call on you individually as we go. And just a small note, right? It's International Day of Peace, and there is a theme, and the theme is related to, on the one hand, restoring or building back after the impacts of COVID. And the second part of that, perhaps the most important part, is within our means, right? Within the means of the planet, living within our means. And it sounds perhaps simple. It's certainly easy to say. But of course, that is the challenge that all over the world, many of us are trying to address, living within our means. So yeah, I'll say good morning to you individually. I also want to welcome my co-host as the day goes on. Hi, Ragda. You're on Peace Island. I didn't know that was a place until recently.
Yeah, it's completely occupied by youth from different backgrounds, and they are literally debating in every room and every space about how to make the world a better place, both locally, regionally, and globally. And I'm here in the middle of it, but also trying to be connected to all the awesome peace pop-ups around the world. I'm super impressed and humbled. We dreamed with 120, and I think we're approaching 200 already, and all these young change makers coming together and literally having actionable steps. So it's not only conversations and talks, but literally commitments. We're impressed, and throughout the next few weeks, I think we will be collecting your commitments and making a nice wrapped up present for the UN to give it to them about all these actions. But I will leave it back to you, Mark, for this awesome panel from Asia, early risers.
Yeah, the early rises where the sun rises. I want to be mindful of some people's time. Sakia, I know you, so calling on Sakia from the Travelettes in Bangladesh, you're a doctor, and I suspect you might even be in the office today. So I want to start with you because you never know when you're going to be needed, and you're doing such important work. Good morning.
Yep, I think it is already good afternoon here. So
All right, right.
It's 12:08. Yeah, but again, good morning somewhere.
Yeah. And I think this was an interesting opportunity. Why not on International Day of Peace? I've been wanting to introduce you to more and more friends and partners and clubs. So talk a little bit about, let's jump right into it, right? The Travelettes, this wonderful organization in Bangladesh that maybe some people don't know, but once they know, they're going to be very excited.
So thank you so much for having me here. And I'm from Travelers of Bangladesh, as I think you can see. So the thing is, the Travelers of Bangladesh is an organization that empowers women through traveling. So we have around 59,000 women in our group, and we empower in this sense that we build a sense of freedom in women and tell them that you can do whatever you want, follow your passion, whatever you want, you can do it. And it is not always about traveling, though we take women to different parts of the country to see the country, but because this is a very conservative society in Bangladesh, women are not allowed outside. So I think that is the problem that we are facing right now. I think, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not about traveling all the time, though we have taken motorcycle to all the corners of Bangladesh. And it was not only traveling, we actually talked with women about their reproductive health. We taught them basic self-defense. And we also talked about how beautiful Bangladesh is, because women are not that allowed outside. So it gets harder for them to know that the country is very beautiful. And you don't have to be under a man all the time. I mean, you don't need men's supervision all the time. So that is what we want to promote, that follow your dreams, get outside of the house, build some confidence. That is what Travelers of Bangladesh is. It is crossing, it would be 5 years this November. And we have a huge member, and right now we have a huge project named Gender Equity and Empowerment Program, which would run for 5 years now. And we would reach around 25 is lakh. So it's around 2 million women after 5 years, hopefully. And we will take gender equity sessions in around 1,000 schools. So that is our target for 5 years.
Yeah,
So
small
I'm sorry
target.
that maybe there
1,000.
are some background sounds.
No, it's wonderful, wonderful, and always impressive how you discuss, like, 1,000 schools. Like, there it is, 1,000 schools. Imagine how many students that is. That's an incredible impact and reach.
So this is basically that what we have decided we want to do, because Bangladesh is a very small country, but hugely populated. So the number that you see might seem very huge, like 59,000 members in a group might sound very a huge number, but it is not that much when you compare the 16 million people living in Bangladesh, and 50% of them are women. So if you consider like that, we have a lot to reach yet. So what we have decided is Bangladesh is divided into 8 divisions and 64 districts. So we have planned to cover 2 schools per division. So there are 8 divisions. So we will cover 16 schools per month.
Yep.
So in per school, there are like 500 to 600 students at least.
Incredible.
So we are hoping to reach a lot.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. I want to also acknowledge that also busy with you on this mission is Dr. Manoshi, who is here, and I'm also very glad. I wanted to make sure to say hello, Dr. Manoshi.
Hi, I'm sorry, I was in a seminar as well, but I couldn't have missed this opportunity to talk with all of you guys. So
Yeah, it's
thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, and of course we know that time is limited, but also I want to introduce you to some of our other panelists. So stay on as long as you can, and I think I might start with passing one over. But before I let you go, Dr. Manoshi, how are things for you? How have things been, especially in this month of International Peace Day, September, in your community, doing the work that you do?
Yeah, actually now it's as the curve is declining in Bangladesh, the COVID curve, everything is opening, the school colleges are being resumed, and our program, as Sakia has described, the program offline in the schools with the students has also been started. So in this month, in this September, we have done the first month target, like 2 school in each zone. We have completed that already, and some of the school we did it in online and some of offline. So it's a good month for us because our volunteers became active offline, and most of them have the jab, the COVID vaccine, and we encourage that to it. And as Sakia has described about the population we are going to reach and the plan, I want to say a few words about the quality and the topic we are about to discuss with the girls in the schools. So I think sometimes peace should be achieved through struggle and resistance, because no one is going to give it in your hand. So in this part of the country, we are the women part, the women population is still lagging behind. And let's face it, if the women are more empowered, even if at home, this ill treating and this lagging behind thing can be dissolved. So we are going to empower them by a holistic measure. So we wanted to teach them about their own health, the menstrual health, the reproductive health, the pregnancy and the child marriage, why it is not good for their health and what is the impending negative impact they will have in their life. And also, we have started a campaign of self-defense. We went to the schools and we talked with the children about how they can defend themselves if someone mistreat them, if some gender-based violence happened to them. So yes, these two topics are the main focus of our program. We want to empower them. And yeah, there is 5 years of program ahead. So best of luck for us.
Absolutely.
And thank you.
And what I enjoy so much, Dr. Manoshi and Dr. Sukia, thank you so much. What I enjoy is also that I've seen through your materials that, of course, there's the teaching of women, empowering women through about health. That you've mentioned self-defense. Just when you think you know what travelettes are about, they add something else, including bike riding. I saw that not long ago. You would think, oh, what things do we need to teach? But riding a bicycle is also empowering. So yeah, thank you so much. I want to pass it on because I know the time is limited. We have with us from Nepal, Saroj. Bania is the head of our MasterPeace Nepal NYC. Saroj, if video and the internet is working well for you, say hello.
Hello, namaste, and this is Saroj Bania from the country of Himalayas. And then I think everyone, has a very good different kind of even Nepal also facing the COVID issue, and then we are also troubling the few in the Kathmandu and the major city of Nepal. So that almost Nepal Youth Council members and the MasterPeace and AIME members are struggling day by day, and then nowadays the almost more than 50% people are already vaccinated. That's a very good point of Nepal. And then I think after a few days later, I think government also will announce the international borders, and then tourists also starting the traveling to the Nepal. And then that is also another part of, I think, very curiosity for the what happening with the next after 3 months or 2 months. That also very a curiosity for us. And then we are also going to celebrating the very big festival, which is come very, very soon and very near. So that I think is everything is going very well. And then Mark, can I get more explaining about the our programs and other things also, and then second part? It's just introduction.
Here, Saraj, let me interrupt you and I'll direct you.
Yeah.
Especially, in the context of International Day of Peace, because MasterPeace NYC does so many things, like so many great organizations that we're lucky enough to know. But you've been doing a competition this month, and it involves a lot of districts. Tell us a little bit about how a competition fits into the International Day of Peace context, or how you see it.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark. Actually, and the happy International Peace Day to all of you. And then the last month we organized the International Youth Day on the August 12th. And then at that time, we announced that seed fund program on the environment conservation with the participation of the young people of the different country. And then at that time, we announced the in partnership with the Coca-Cola Nepal. And then we are going to giving the 50,000 Nepalese rupees for as a seed fund program on the conservation and the youth participation in the protecting and the conserving the environmental sectors. And then the 19th of September, we did the pitching ceremony. We got almost more than 21 plus ideas from the different part of country, from the 7 provinces. And then so many a very outstanding and the very, very good and the very outstanding ideas from the different part of Nepal. But there is a format, and there is some limitation. We have only the 7 ideas, and we're going to giving this Nepalese rupees 50,000 for the 1 ideas from the 1 provinces. That's why that is our a format and the limitation of that idea, the seed fund idea program. And then especially thank you to the Coca-Cola Nepal for trusting us and then giving engaging the young people for supporting and then the conserving the environment in the different part of Nepal. And that is a very good for us because the Nepal Youth Council and the MasterPeace NYC, one thematic area is environmental conservation, goal number 13. So that under these objectives and the modality, and we call for ideas on 12th of August on the occasion of International Youth Day. And in between the August 12 to 30 of August, we collected more than 30 plus ideas. And then we shortlisted 21 ideas from the 7 provinces. And then 19th of September, we organized the idea pitching ceremony. In front of we have the 5 jury members, one from Coca-Cola Nepal, one for the WWF Nepal, and one from the environmental sectors, and another one from the education sectors, and another white jury member from the business entrepreneurs. We have the 5 jury members diverse from the diverse background and the diverse sectors. During the idea pitching ceremony, we collected the different presentation with the ideas, and then they were submitting, and they were pitching the different kind of ideas. And then we were gave the almost 5 minutes time for the each group, and then we have the some question as round also. And then almost now we have the all 7 ideas expected 2 provinces, because nowadays in Nepal most of the university running the exam, board exam. So there are 2 members, 2 group, two from the 2 provinces. They are not attending the study, the 19th of September program idea ceremony, and then we give the 7 days more. And then I already shared with the Mark in the through these WhatsApp conversation. We have already selected, we are already finalized the 5 ideas from the 5 different provinces. And then today is the big day for us, and then we are going to announcing that 5 selected ideas. And then actually I'm also inviting the 1 members from the Coca-Cola, but just I think Mark, can you promote it to the panelist, Mr. Bikram Casey? He is from the Coca-Cola, and then he is in the attendees room, so that if possible, can you promoting as a panelist in the main room, Mark?
So Dr. Bikram is now coming back as a panelist.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
and so we'll give him a moment. We don't have a lot of time. That's the only catch.
Okay. Just I'm
back.
going to summarize within 1 minute. And then again, thank you so much to the Coca-Cola Nepal for trusting us, and then empowering and engaging the different programs environmental conservation. And the last 2 years back, we did a national level sanitation program in all over the Nepal, 77 districts of Nepal, in partnership with the Coca-Cola. Really, and then I'm very much thank you to the Coca-Cola Nepal. Definitely they are contributing, they are investing the much amount of money and the resources to mobilizing, and they protecting the environment in Nepal. And again, thank you so much, Bikram sir, and your team.
We've got
Really trusting. And
Dr. Bikram is here now. I don't know if he can say hello, but Dr. Bikram, we'd love just to say hello to you.
Hello, namaste.
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 Very good to see you.
Sorry for the link problem for me. Now I am joining with my cell phone.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And Saroj has been telling us about your cooperation together with MasterPeace Nepal NYC, and the whole process actually throughout this month of pitching, of reviewing, and finally of accepting and having winners on the topic of conservation. Curious to actually watch how the projects go when they once they get their seed money and they begin. So thank you very much for joining us. Definitely to Dr. Bikram. Saroj, of course, always glad to see you, my friend. I want to pass to another participant because we don't have that many minutes. Clara, if you're out there, I feel like sometimes I'm just on a bus, kind of like, is Clara on the bus? Clara from Bahasa Bali is joining us from Bali. And it's one of the first times that Clara can be with us for an event, and I think maybe the first of many. Clara, if the internet allows.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard you.
Hi. Thank you, Mark, for the opportunity. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all here. And this is our first time here to talk in the International Peace Day event. And I'm coming from Bali, Indonesia. And most of you maybe know about Bali, and I'm waiting you to come here to Bali after the travel ban is opened. We will welcoming you here with friendly and something fun. And this is very nice opportunity for us to just give you a short description about what we are doing here in Bali, especially with the young people here in Bali, especially how to engage them with the digital platform. I'm working as the head of communication at Bahasa Bali Wiki. Bahasa Bali Wiki is an organization that provides young generation and society as a whole a digital platform to preserve Balinese language, culture, and also those kind of things in Bali. So because we think at the first time, kind of language and culture cannot be preserved by us alone without any digital platform. So we are trying to connect the digitalization, the technology with the culture, with the language things. So we make a set a website and make a online dictionary in 3 languages. So we want to make sure that this platform and the dictionary and also our virtual library can be used as learning tools for the young generation here in Bali especially. And this is the way that we can do to preserve our culture as well as our language. And regarding to International Deos Festival, this month we are making a competition like what Sarat already told about his event. We have called a wikithon. It actually stands for wiki marathon. So we have a marathon competition for all the young generation here in Bali to come to show their ideas and action in solid waste management issue. So because we think that environmental issue in Bali is very serious, so we want to make sure that the young generation, their ideas can be heard by the policymakers. This is the gap that we are see here in Bali, that when the young generation have their ideas in how to handling the environment, how to handling the solid waste issues, but their ideas or their opinion cannot be heard well by the policymaker. So we want to make like a bridge between the policymaker and also the young generation here in Bali with our platform. So we want to make sure that the young generation here in Bali, get their safe place to come up their ideas without any fear. And the interesting thing is some of the participants asked us whether if they can put their no name because they're afraid to expressing their ideas, because they're just afraid to critique the government, the regulation. So they want to put no name when they entering the competition, but that's fine. We want to make sure that okay, this is the safe place for you to express your idea without any fear, without any sanction or punishment after you giving your ideas. That is the issue that we see when we make this competition. So we want to make sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feels peace when they're expressing their ideas or any civic issues. So yeah, we are going to that competition, and this competition would be in a one long-term project for 3 years. So yeah, hopefully in the next 2022 we can finish the project, and we'd love to join in any international peace event, because we want to make sure that everybody in the world can collaborate together and make the world peace. And yeah, it's time for us as young generation to speak up and make a change to the world. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Clara. And what I love about, among the things I've seen from Bahasa Bali, is the use of art in the education, in the even in the on the wiki. You have some talented graphic designers, or simply just kids who are very good, I think, with using art to also make learning interesting and attractive. I've seen also on Instagram the use of great design. So it's just great to hear more about how and what you're doing, and I'm so excited that you could join us. So thank you, Clara. So here's what's going to happen, and I want to bring in one more person before we move forward. I see Drew's in the room. That's wonderful. We're going to, so every 30 minutes or so, the program is going to change. So let me, for now, do that. In about a minute or two, I'm going to switch over to AIME from Australia, and Drew and the whole team actually will be joining us. They're already joining us in some way. But Sudipta, are you out there from Culture Monks in Kolkata? You haven't had a chance to speak. I wanted to make sure everybody could at least say hello, and we'll just steal a minute or two here. Are you out there? He's always out there. That's not even really a question, but I pretend like I'm not sure.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. And a warm wishes to everybody on this International Day of Peace. And like the past years, and especially this year, I'm glad to see that the dialogue is getting more intense and inclusive, and we have so many more people joining in from different walks of life and different places. And I'm just inspired by the various acts which are taking place today, and different projects going on in different parts of the world, as we heard from Bali, Nepal, and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
We are very happy to share that I lead the MasterPeace Bengal chapter club, and this year, for the past 2 years, we have been spending a lot of time in research, and so most of our programming is our collective has grown in different countries. We are a global collective, and we are working on many things: embodied action for change, where we seek our relationship with the pre-modern and the past, and emerge with a kind of an articulation of what we are and what we are going to become. And we are also working at policy levels, trying to see how language can be affected, communication can be affected by poetics rather than just polemics. And we believe this is very important, that the process of bringing about change should not be exactly the same thing that we are trying to change. So, with these, because time is short, and we have a lot of events which are going to take place. It's my warm wishes to everyone from West Bengal, and we hope to meet everyone soon at other instances and other platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sudipta. I'm so glad that I could get to hear your voice and see your wonderful face, and your background and your good shirt today. Now that I notice, I like a good pattern. Anyway, I'm always commenting on people's fashion in Zoom meetings, but I don't think that's commonly done. Thank you so much for the entire Good Morning panel here, for joining us, from the Travelettes, from MasterPeace Nepal NYC, from Culture Monks, and from Basa Bali. Also acknowledging Coca-Cola Nepal for joining Dr. Bikram. What we're now going to do, this is a very smooth transition. We will go to, first I'll call upon our dear friends from AIME, who have been slowly joining us. Actually, I have to make sure everybody gets their video working. Drew, Penny, are you out there?
Yeah, we're
Hey,
here.
Mark, how are you?
Greetings. Okay, Puddle's also with us. Yeah, you snuck in. I'm fine, and there you guys are in Australia. It's so nice to see you. What I'll do now is I'll get out of the way and let you do what you do. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds brilliant. Thanks, Mark. And I think we'll play the intro to Imagination TV and start the show right away.
Sounds good.
The command module.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are calling in here from beautiful Gumbaynggirr country, and let's pay our respects to the land that we're joining from. I am Parul. I'm your host for today, along with Drew, who I'll introduce in a minute or pass the mic to. And while we pay our respects to elders of the past, present, and especially the young ones emerging, who are the stars of this show and stars of this life and stars of this planet in general. We pay respects to all First Peoples everywhere and extend our respect to the practices that have sustained life on the planet for many, many millennia and continue to do so today. Now, what makes me who I am today is the deep-rooted spirit or the wisdom that comes from the land I come from in India, the many mentors that walk and cross our paths, including one of my mentors, Drew, who's on this call. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself, Drew?
Beautiful and really, really warm welcome and introduction, Parul. Hello, everybody. It's really great to be here. And probably more importantly, it's great to be in amongst a community that is, so open-minded and have lots of wisdom to bring to the table. As mentioned, my name's Drew Payton. I'm the co-CEO for AIME Mentoring this year. I'm a Gunner Kunai man, and I'm just honestly overwhelmed and also in a state of privilege being able to sit with so much knowledge and great humans.
Brilliant. Today, we're going to talk about how do we action peace? How do we take peace, which some people think is an idea in people's mind, and bring it out into life? And the questions we're going to ask of an amazing panel consisting of people from Netherlands, Czech Republic, Denmark, France, Australia, Kenya, South Africa. We're going to go on a world tour in the next 30 or so minutes. But before we do that, I think we will throw to a quick video just to welcome you all to, especially those of you who are new to AIME, to our worlds. And then we'll jump on the flip side of the video to the panel and engage in the collective wisdom on this group call.
Wonderful. PJ, I don't know about you, but that still to this very day gives me shivers. No matter how many times I watch it, it will forever give me shivers. So yeah, that was really great. So today is a really great opportunity for us to come together. And today we're exploring how to action peace. Now, peace is not the absence of war. It is not the gap that separates two periods of conflict, as many historians say it is. Peace is an active, creative, constructive process that requires daily engagement and action from everyday individuals, you, me, and we, to bring into the world. It is our natural state that needs nurturing and strengthening through action. And words help, but it's action that really counts. With that in mind, I'm really looking forward to the idea of us as a collective being able to come forward with so many ideas. And we're gathered here with a bunch of really great humans from the Peace Youth Alliance. And so what I might do is throw around the grounds really quickly. And within a 30-second period of time, I would love, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I'd love to throw around to our different panelists and for you to introduce yourself, but what organization you're from, and maybe even give us a quick glimpse into what peace means to you. Ermin, have we got you, my friend? I might throw straight to you. I would love to hear from you.
Hey, Andrew. Hey, PJ, and hello to everybody on the call. My name, as Drew just said, is Ermin. I'm joining the call from Nairobi in Kenya. I am part of the AIME team. I think what peace means to me is really, let me see, how can I put this? So it's relatively early in the morning. Not that early, but it's still early days. So my brain is still waking up. What peace means to me is really how humans understand each other. I think I've lived in about nine different countries in my lifetime. And one thing that I have often been in a position to observe and to witness and to experience for myself is how sometimes people are saying the same thing and are very, very similar, but they're saying the same thing in different ways. And so they're not really understanding each other. And to stand in between that space between people who are trying to understand each other and not managing, and being able to hear both sides and to bring that together. For me, that's part of what makes peace, is that we stand in a gap and we help people to get each other and to empathize with each other and to understand what our similarities are and where we're humans together, basically. And it really, for me, it's not something around nation and policy, but it really starts from within.
Yeah, so true, Ermin. On that note, let's see who else we can build bridges across. Maybe we go from Kenya, Nairobi, over to the Youth Island. Anna, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what peace means to you?
Of course, thank you. My name is Anna, and I am an ambassador for the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And also I have worked with peace through the exchange organization AFS intercultural programs, where the aim is to reach peace through intercultural exchanges. But today I am here to talk about the global goals and how these goals are essential for us to reach a stage of peace. Because to me, peace is a stage where we find ourselves and we find each others. It is harmony between human beings, but also I feel like it is a stage where we do not harm each others as human beings, but nor the planet, because it cannot just be within us. We have to have the planet in the games as well. And that is why I feel like it is so important to also bring the global goals into play, because if we reach these goals, I am sure that this will be the stage of peace as well. Thank you.
That's incredible, and really nice to have you here with us. Wow, there's so many great people we can throw to. How about we throw to Olivia, my friend, all the way over on the other side of the world. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and where you're coming from.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm Olivier. I work in Paris in a research center called CREE, and I'm co-leading an initiative, a collective initiative called Learning Planet. And in fact, the motto of Learning Planet is learning to take care of oneself, others, and the planet. We work with UNESCO and many UN organizations, but we are looking for a way to tell the story of the SDGs that is even more accessible or understandable by everyone. So this idea of aligning the fact of learning to take care of oneself, others, and the planet seems key in this regard. I think there are two dimensions that are really shared, of value that are shared across all cultures, across centuries, but the dimension which is caring and of fairness. So these two dimensions, if you align them, if you are a world which is fairer, with less inequalities, and if you take care of the others, so this needs to invent new ways of learning, of teaching, of doing research, of mobilizing collective intelligence, and maybe also of working with AI and other technologies. And at the time being, we're working together with the IT teams, the Little Prince of Saint-Exupéry, and hundreds of people of creating a GPS of dreams to allow individuals to share their dreams for a better world, so that they can have collective dreams, and from these collective dreams to move on to having, I mean, utopias, but realistic utopias that we can do together. So I can build on this, but really thank you very much for taking me in this conversation. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you, Olivier. I love the idea of GPS of dreams. Like, how cool is that? Let's build a GPS of dreams together. Let's go back to Youth Island and listen from Art and Martina. Do you want to quickly introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and what peace means to you?
Hello, my name is Martina, and I'm from MasterPeace, Denmark. And what peace means to me is, I think, balance. And connected to that, I think it comes from us and from the effort that we want to make to create peace. And yeah, I think that's peace, that we want to put effort to communicate, to understand each other, to create something instead of destroying something else.
Yeah, maybe to add, I'm Art from MasterPeace Global. Peace to me is action based on inner peace. So inner peace is the driver, and then to contribute and not to extract. And one practical example, I think a few months ago, my colleague Marlene attended a webinar organized by Olivier. And then she was in the same panel as Drew. And what happens? When you're open-minded, now we are collectively, and with all the world, there are, let's say, hundreds of events. And so my mission in life is to strengthen the networks of the like-minded, because we have to outnumber the negative.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Art and Martine. I would love to throw to another global connection that we're building here today. Anne-Marie, how are you doing? I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the rest of the crew.
Thank you very much. And it's really an honor to be here. And I'm very touched by your movie, also by how we're coming in, but I was very touched by I've looked at it a few times, but it really touches me deeply. And I'm very much dedicated to co-create from the heart and find ways to work together that work for all life, because I really do see and sense that we're all interconnected and interrelated, and that there's also a multi-dimensionality to our world. And I think that's one of the things that I've sensed that also comes back here. And to see how we can come into a much better balance of the masculine and the feminine, and also intergenerationally. So the interaction between the generations, and also our awareness of the past time, the future, that is all coming together in this moment now. And how can we connect and relate to that, honor that, and serve all life forms. So thank you for having me here. It's very inspiring.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. That's very beautifully put. And I think it automatically builds on what Art and Martina was speaking before, of like that sense of inner peace, bringing the masculine and the feminine together, bringing the disparate energies at work. And one person I think that does this better than anyone else is our friend in South Africa, Vitali. Over to you, my friend. Tell us who you are.
Thank you, Parul. Yeah, it's a It's a pleasure to be here. Sorry. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Mutale. I'm in South Africa. I've been with AIME for quite a while and just working on trying to make sure that everyone's life is as peaceful as we say peace is. According to me, peace is the acceptance that we are part of nature and nature is part of us, and we make peace with the environment we are living in. But in a group setup, I believe peace is the creation of environment where all in the group can thrive, and regardless of color or gender or whatever denomination we can place people on, the environment should be conducive for all to thrive in. That's for me how I see peace. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more and sharing more about this as we go.
So good to have you here, smiling away, Vitali. Last and definitely not least, Philip, how are you, my brother? So happy to have you here. The mic is yours.
Thank you kindly, and thank you for having me. I'm Philip, part of City Transformers and the Peace Day core team, also situated on Youth Island at the moment. I consider peace to be a state of mind in which we're able to both share and feel the love and kindness that there is in the world that doesn't really show through until we actually start bringing it towards others. And that is what I strive to do in every action that I take. And I believe why I'm sitting here today, both on this call and on this island.
Yeah, profound, really profound, Philip. And the number of perspectives we've heard already on peace start to form like a crystal view of the different lenses when we look at what a fascinating and beautiful idea peace can be. It's maybe a thought in our minds. Maybe it's an inner balance between two opposing thoughts. Maybe it's how we connect to other people, how we build bridges across different cultures, races, and so on. How are you going, Drew? What's happening in your mind?
Wow, this is, I can't seem to get this smile off my face to start with. So I think that's the start of peace, right? Is being able to smile and enjoy one another's company. So I'd love to throw out a question to the crew, if that's cool, PJ. And it's from Donut Economics, and it's, what can you do to help create a world that works for all within the limits of the planet and have fun while doing so? Now, I don't want to pinpoint people. I'd love to have the next few minutes as an open discussion. So I'm going to leave that as an open question for anybody to jump in.
I just gotta say that I love the addition of having fun while doing it, because we're incredibly focused on this and addressing this burning question throughout this. And yeah, it's also important to enjoy the process. That's certainly something.
I can jump in with one recent experience which brought me to meet some of you also. We're working more and more across the world with youth people on all subjects. So different programs. One program called Children in All Policies, and how do we work with youth councils from different countries and with many to make sure that we co-design with youth all policies that are related to their future. So whether it's health and education and peace and all these dimensions. And doing this at scale, I now start to see cities coming together and creating network to really promote the youth rights and participation at scale. So this is both acting on the ground and making change, and doing this with very different youth, and it is a huge pleasure. So it is very meaningful and fun. We call it maybe meaning fun. So that's one way maybe.
Meaning fun, I love that one. Still keen to hear from everyone else on the panel. Unmute yourselves and tell us, how would we create this world that Drew sort of imagined? Anne-Marie.
Yes, I think, we're seeing in the groups that I'm working with, we're seeing cities also, thank you for bringing that in, Olivier, as living cities, as places that are coming to life through our actions. And in that, with Integral City and with our work, we see that joy, that deep sense of joy, is really something that helps us also in very difficult times. And joy is not only about having fun, although we're really having fun here on Youth Island, it's also this deep sense of feeling alive. And so how can we enhance that capacity and give ourselves, and also in our educational systems and in everything that we build, that we can all the time feel that life force? And I think even in cities, it's so important that we also bring in nature and bring in other parts of our, not only humans and the buildings and all that kind of thing, but the other parts, because it is just, if you just look at a plant or look at something that has to do with nature, that already helps you to sense that life force. It's a practice, but it's very simple actually. So that's one of the things that I think can help contribute, that we really come into connection in a different way and have all voices heard in how we form our societies.
Can I add, Drew?
Please, I'd love for you to add.
Let's say the joy part has also, let's say, an element of rewarding, that you really are pleased. And I am most rewarded when I receive a compliment because I give, or not a compliment, but I feel the compliment. So it is a rewarding job to contribute to society. And my main mission in life, I identified some years ago, is I want to contribute, not to extract. And when I took that decision, it was so rewarding. My life became more and more rewarding. And then you sparkle and then you smile. So I think rewarding and joy are two elements of the same coin.
Thanks, Art. And Martina, while you're still there, what do you think?
Thank you. About the donut economics and like the question you asked, in my opinion, I think we, like, for sure it starts within us, like I said previously, with the effort and the communication. And I think we need diversity, because what I see in the world today is that we are trying to have this ideal, if it's some kind of a system that we are trying to use for everyone globally. But we all know that we are very diverse and very different people, countries, nations, and I think that's what we should start working on, to understand the diversity and try to work together to learn from each other and balance everything that is included in the donuts economics, if it's education or other aspects.
Thanks, Martina. I'd love, Anna?
Yes, please. I would love to jump in on that as well. Because I think it is really important to keep in mind that we need to include the young people also in order for us to keep it fun. Because for the young people, they are longing to learn something new. They are longing to do something where they can really make a change. So I believe if you hand over the ball to them, so they can come out with their ideas, then first of all, they will have the experience of that. They can recognize a problem themselves, they can work on it, and they can see it change. This reward is so rewarding as anything can be, and this is what it takes to also have fun, because if it is a learning process, and if you can do something new where it is your own initiative, then I think that this is a factor that we need to keep in mind, because then we can move in the right direction. And especially young people, they have this drive to really do something when they set a goal, and then we can have fun along the way while we gain new knowledge.
For sure, and I couldn't agree more. I think like one of the most beautiful things and rich things that I've been able to see here at AIME is exactly that, is when you place a young person at the front of the stage, or when you give them the power to be able to lead conversation, you start to see a different dynamic on how conversations are laid out. So for part of what we do with AIME TV, we make sure that the young people are leading the conversations, and often you have this young kid in high school, you know, talking to it or leading a panel full of really great people that have had 30, 40 years of worth of experience in their lifetime. And all of a sudden the power dynamic shifts, and rather than it being a hierarchical thing of because this person has more power or more knowledge, they're more important, it plateaus itself out and everyone is seen as this equal party. And it's just this really beautiful dynamic is when you start to center youth voice at the very front of it. So yeah, thank you for raising that point. PJ, I'm going to throw back to you, Russ.
Yeah, I'd love to hear, I know we're going to run out of time in a minute, but I'd love to hear from everyone on what practical action are people going to take at the end of this call. What is your pledge? Like, what are you going to make? What change are you going to make in the world as an individual to create a more peaceful and equitable world within the confines of the planet and have fun while doing so? Why don't we start with you, Ermin?
Thanks, BJ. Okay. Have fun while doing it. That's the part I'm going to focus on a little bit. The most fun I've had recently at work is reaching out to academics, professors at top universities around the world, and say to them, hey, would you like to come and co-author a paper with some of our non-human professors of Imagination University? And our non-human professors, they are made of purple and pink and blue furry hair, and they have these, they're what in this world would be called puppets, but in our world of imagination are called professors, and they're the professors of Imagination University. And the knowledge that they are bringing to the world and trying to share with the world free of charge in monetary terms in any case, is knowledge around imagination, around flipping the script out of narratives of disadvantage, out of building bridges, organizing change. And these are areas that we have at Imagination University, a stream for school students, high school students, to become entrepreneurs of change in their own lives. So to use their imagination and to use their connections and to use their energy and their dreams to design and to co-design the future to start, but to design these change in their own lives, in their communities, and in the world. And it's really fascinating to see kids coming from areas that are not within the margins of privilege and power and influence, who have that imagination and who open it up and who choose to learn. And so that for me is a lot of fun, watching that happen, and then trying to bring the more established and very well respected academic into this space, which is absolute fun and which is absolute, well, 100% imaginative. So yeah, anyway, my pledge on that is just to keep chasing, chasing the academics and bringing them into this world, because we really want to build that bridge. And we've talked about collective intelligence and learning from each other. And so my personal pledge is to, because I failed and I'm learning from failure, I joined Imagination University last year and I dropped out because I just didn't have the time to take my pledge forward. So what I'm pledging to do is to learn from all of these young people who have been so 100% into creating change for themselves. And I'm going to learn from them how they stuck with it, in the commitment and the learning and all of that. That's my personal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ermin. I want to throw two more people before we close out. Vitaly, I would love to hear from you. What's your pledge moving forward?
Thank you, Drew. I did enroll on Imagination University with a project, but my project was specifically meant to give, and I wanted to give sanitary pads to young people who in the rural areas who wanted, who couldn't afford them. But what I failed to understand was that sometimes we need to create platforms for young people to start generating something so that they can afford to buy without really receiving from other people. So My pledge is to create a platform for young people to actually generate some form of cash, especially on the entrepreneur side, for them to start some small businesses in trying to establish those through Imagination University, and so that they can be able to afford to buy their own sanitary towels and so on. So that is my pledge. I'm just going to make sure that the girl child's life is much easier as possible, especially in the environment where I'm coming from, which is the rural side of South Africa.
Yeah, it's such an important initiative, Vitali. We're backing you to do it, and we're supporting you in any way we can. You're an absolute star. How about you, Philip, over in Youth Island? What's your pledge for the next year? What change are you going to create?
I think ever since exactly a year ago, where I came with 10 others to gather the harvest of 1,000 young people that was then handed over to the UN in a declaration, it gave me this understanding of youth has a voice. People have something to say. They just don't always have the platform to do so. And ever since last year, and what I'm doing right now is just providing that opportunity, that feeling that I got last year, to as many as I possibly can. And I will continue to do that from tomorrow and the day after.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. And I'd love for the remainder of the crew to make their pledges. Maybe we go across to Art and Martina.
Thank you. Thank you. My pledge is, well, I made goals, I would say, for the next year together with my teammates that I live with. So we have different kind of goals that we want to keep, but in simple way to put it, we are all trying to be an example and role models for the younger people, because we are studying to become teachers. So basically the collective and the group that I live in, I will try to be my best self and try to learn together with them to grow. And yeah, just to give a practical example, we decided to not use alcohol and drugs because we want to give example of healthy lifestyle, and we want to be present, I would say. Everyone has different stance about this, but my personal stand is that I want to be present and as much as possible, and I don't need this substances to feel better or distract myself. And then we want to be active for sure and do many projects to connect with people, to learn from them, and to show the world that that's what we can do and inspire other people possibly to do many other things.
Art?
I want to be a great father and grandfather. And besides that, dedicate my life to bridge gaps. It can be a gap between the have and the have-nots, between black and white, between the gaps, the urgency between, let's say, of what happens now in society needs the bridges. And I want to be a small bridge in that sense.
Brilliant. Thanks, Martina, for being present, and Art for being a bridge builder. Let's go across to Paris with Olivier.
Well, I guess a bit like Art, one of what I've been doing for the last 15 years, and like many of you, is creating these bridges and creating communities and learning communities that collaborate together. So one way for me to do so in the coming months will be to co-organize with hundreds of organizations of all kinds, and really with youth leadership, the Learning Planet Festival, where we want to celebrate everything that people learn, what they want to learn next. We're creating an open parfait. We want to celebrate also mentors from the past across cultures and centuries. So that's a very collective work, and I invite you all to join for sure. We already have conversation with most of you, but that's the festival itself is not a goal. It's a moment where you bring together very diverse community, you mobilize people, and you work on creating a movement around hope, thriving ways of learning, and all these kinds of things. So that's quite strong because we see real projects emerging from these moments, although often too often online. So this year, hopefully there will be activities happening in situ also, in person.
So incredible. Anne-Marie, I'm going to throw to you. What's your pledge over the next 12 months?
Well, that's a long time. And I like to be following the flow and seeing what needs to happen in the moment. But for now, I can very clearly see, I mean, the red thread is always seeing how we can come together in a heart-centered way of serving. And I love to strategically connect people to see how I can enhance their own capacities. And I want to offer you immediately that we can continue the conversation and to see how I can connect you to any groups, evolutionary leaders, others that are around the world, and where I would say I follow and would also invite all the time people to sense into a deep sense of curiosity, so that we can enhance our capacity to listen as well. So that's my offer here, to continue immediately to see how we can, serve this beautiful work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
It's really special. I think, there's this one thing that we have at AIME, and it's called hoodie economics, and it's not the exchange of money, it's the exchange of time, knowledge, and opportunity. And I think that's one thing that like we're all doing and we're all capable of doing, is being able to share that exactly that, the hoodie economics. So thank you. Anna, lucky last, the ball is yours. What is your pledge for the next 12 months, my friend?
Thank you so much. I would like to share my thoughts on this because, as we talked about earlier on, it is also about finding your inner peace. This morning, I participated in an Aikido class where the core value is that you can fight anything if you find your inner peace and use this energy from within yourself. Then you can fight anything and the world. So I believe that if all of us work on ourselves and find our inner peace, then we will be able to show this peace, to use this energy to create more peace around us. And this is something very beautiful, I think, that all of us needs to work on in order for us to achieve our goals further from that. That was my thoughts on this. Thank you.
That's brilliant, Anna. I think that brings us to the end of a very power-packed panel. How are we feeling, Drew Patensky? Are we ready to give this a wrap? What is your pledge, Drew?
My pledge, well, I have too many to be able to riddle them all out, but I think one of the key things that I want to be able to do over the next 12 months is be able to support First Nations communities and grow entrepreneurship. So I don't know what that looks like, but it's definitely something that's intrigued me a lot over the last 12, 24 months, and something that I'm passionate about pushing forward and really driving on self-determination. So somewhere in amongst that, there's a few different key pledges that, I'm feeling great, man. I think this has been a really beautiful conversation, and it's definitely not the end of the conversation. I think this is a small ripple in a large lake. So man, I'm feeling good. How are you doing?
Yeah, feeling really excited and positively charged for the change that's to come and the change that's required today. And I'll round us out by saying it is, in a way, tapping into the wisdom that's inherent in all of us. And from where I come from in India, we sort of say like peace is the natural state of humankind. It is not something we learn. Perhaps war and violence is something we learn. And in fact, most of the chants or the mantras we have in India often end with the words Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, which means peace, peace, and peace upon the three worlds, which sort of represents all the different universes or all the different worlds that exist at the moment, past, present, future, so on and so forth. So on that note, we will agree with a call to peace, peace, and peace with this amazing power-packed panel from all around the world. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Drew, for hosting me alongside me. And we'll play the outro and see you all on the other side. Thank you, crew.
Thanks, Ian.
And we're out. Thanks, everyone. Air traffic control Mark here. I'm going to put a pause on the feed and the recording. And I think that there are things going to be happening on Peace Island.